Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
Smilia mus altige agus an Claare Shaw, Claare na Gael. My name is Robert Coutin Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Have I heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
And it's my pleasure to present Claare na Gael in 2 languages, with part of the programme in the English language as Les Pertgee Sahilg, and with part of it in the Manx Gaelic, Chinyanamera, the mother tongue of Ellan Banning, the Isle of Man. As Bannacht dat Rish, Douglas is now a city. In 1896, a royal charter had made it a borough, and the coat of arms includes a scroll with the Manx words Cianortus Chaustaige Cianortus, government within a government. But Claare na Gael looks back this time to the earlier Douglas town. Ren benne clashen al jaspoirek ten a butch, greid rau I foi giara gi a kion, chaus vi na chadla ni shen. Mar so ren I shigger rau in neen of which na lai ag chow mui al yabi, as ren of which giara gi kion and a neen ek heen. The modern calendar's 5th of July corresponds with what was the 24th of June by the old style and reformed calendar, and that was reckoned to be the Midsummer, and it was a fire festival associated with the island's great god, Manannan Claare. Tawas geest jachtish radio banning, stasiwn and asiwn, fiscal or scalia mach by Dúlish, Ellan Banning.
Sai folk er mola faru, ma, Manannan beg ma
The band Gael and 2 songs about Manannan ruling from the summit of Barul and in his role as a god of the sea. In an article in the Manx newspaper on Saturday, June the 30th, 1866, there was a reference to Douglas Town Commissioners. The Town Commission had been set up in 1860 and continued until Douglas was created a borough in 1899. In 1866, the chairman of the Town Commission was Mr. John Dearden. Another of the Douglas Town Commissioners was Thomas Tier. And this article notes that a petition was to be presented to a court of the Staff of Government Division, presided over by the Lieutenant Governor, who at that time was Henry Broomloch, and they were complaining that Messrs. Dearden and Tier weren't eligible to be Douglas Town Commissioners, as they weren't, as required under the terms of the Act which had established it, paying rates for, as it set it out, premises within the town with an annual value of not less than £15. Now, to follow on from this, we move to the Manx Sun reporting the Staff of Government Court hearing in Castletown, which was held on the 4th of July, 1866. Ren lias yn un of which raigus tai gliminachek Roland, the inch day the gin of which chitnan jai destroyed. Ren Roland curlich the gold back as the head and slat obby which, as lesh shen ren had gold toyach der redok. Van which coriaglach fagen der rau alias in ninek erske pale, as der rau isha raro in ninek sheen. As huggy mooi bootsen which in u kosjach oer ek dach kesmet. Ach tre renny berach dan oru, ren the voyage and image in clat obby, der rau kummach en elia courage Roland as ori a sheen, maar so we ern which gold of valia as ish knowledge. Ach, Henky Rish and lay again, is a cheer show ren a voyage in image in clat obby, the chor Roland, the way na chleider bile, lesh obvious sachar we the chlei, na rau njaart eg a which ach de gansen goudsversen klei, as na spioei we klei, na surge we orri limme, derre we couch de bollach, as we na lai maru a tollu. Now this is the start of what's known as the traditionary ballad, in which Manannan is the first to rule the island. And this is a setting by Annie Kissick of the words to her own tune, and it's arranged for Kurjan Kujach. Kurjan Kujak and the Manannan Beg Ballad, which is the opening of the much longer poem, the Traditionary Ballad. Nishford Saucha, High Roland the Valia the Reiche a Vanishok. Ach, Ren Beg Gael Elion Shen, Gino image a Klugen de Chlene, de Renne Gerut de Bollach en Gid Graege, va Force Forrachten Saljag Chriesek, Trena Denke, Ren Avoidgen image in Clatobi, de Yino Blair Jiheen, as is Smunyan Fuddy the Darach Pegenjach, as Cora Chasori, as Croyji. Ach, Honnig Bachelia Blair, as Svech Hoelen, de Deschen de Rennie Plugge, as Hugge Lesh de Valia, as Hugge Ern Chorege. Via Leshen va Ulju a Farstai Jint a hon, Guinness Biege Ern Achvi Chit de Way Jint. As fi Yera, Hayagus Ben Grine de Chiracol. Din she de rau obvious a hoosh. As mar enjach tre honneke riddenach glaciach as a taiege de lizige kjau enrit ben herish, as de jinnach shen brisha a fishig. A morre a gain. Shen morene, as tre kjaui an enrit ben herish of le, Henky de way ons kommer J and margin Ellenrish. And the staff of Government Division Court comprised the Lieutenant Governor Henry B. Loch, the Deemsters Drinkwater and Stephen, and the Clerk of the Rolls, who at that time was Mark Hildersley Quayle. The matter is headed Petition of H. B. Noble and others versus John Dearden and Thomas Tier. There were 14 petitioners named, but the one well known to us, of course, is that of Henry Bloom Noble, and there's more to that element of the story a little later. This article tells us, this petition has rather an important bearing in connection with the Town Commission of Douglas, it being presented in order to test whether the defendants were qualified to sit as Town Commissioners for Douglas. Mr. Lawton, this is Alfred Lawton, appeared for the petitioners, and His Honour the Attorney General, not named in the article, this was James, later Sir James Gael, and Messrs. Adams, Sherwood and Adamson for defendant Tier, Mr. Claude Cannell for defendant Dearden. Mac Tullach Vannin and Jaunus Achvona, Mona's Delight. As Shodat, Stasiwn and Ashun, Radio Vannin, as she Claare na Gael was Guller Scalia Machig and Treit on, Mish, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Ava a tale of old Bobby Bob.
De keir dat Claare en Claare na Gael rís sjachten lugji vi skilt macht bio, trúd een graman eis rís in de radio wannim. De Claare na Gael regetten nasty mor podcast, yes, trúd in de radio wannim, na trúd keir een podcast elia. Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. Now, this court action included notable advocates of the day, and it made complaint that your petitioners are owners and occupiers of houses and premises in the town of Douglas, and pay rates to the Douglas Town Commissioners. That your petitioners, being ratepayers, are deeply interested in the property management in the Commonwealth, are deeply interested in the proper management of the Douglas Town Commissioners. That John Dearden of Strathallan Crescent, on or about the month of May 1864, was elected as one of the Douglas Town Commissioners. That recently he has removed out of the said town of Douglas. And of course, that's in reference to Strathallan Crescent, at that time outside the town boundary to the north of it. That in or about the month of May 1865, Thomas Tier was elected as one of the town commissioners, but at that period of his election was not eligible as a commissioner under the Douglas Town Act, he at the period of his election not occupying a house or other premises within the said town. Dintje voigen den vagelia olju vergitori, as huggi huis taatnius de, drenny braich gi de fusse, ach dreiger ish, gajinum. No drawi fós fyrniach dan Roland Minek, ge draw esch nech regeli. Gen rawi son pusa en bachlia huggi Gael nach jinnach I vergele, ach de jinnach I freil rish Gael kereil gen taiega. Nish henken tre verbanish Roland de vei na chummel rish nien elje sjo. As vershaan gliachtig se chiersjen, de liesach de chulju in nien va kion fenish, as de liesach het Gael ren, ons honor jen ven fusi as het je pussy. Treba vis eg void in firrenjach so, wie go trimsjach, drawi genach dan de jinnach kriek brisje. As gerawi arltach de gol, der henkt na firelje de gorliawi. As tre henke shelek de Gael ren, renny skirre gus a chowchulu, drawi na shadow na lummerken. As mar so, gawi toich der Gael ren. This is a setting by Marlene Masker of a poem by Mona Douglas, The Secret Island, and it's performed here by Marlene herself and Dilys Sowry.
I know a distant land over the sea, green hill and cloudy strand and windy lea, the white host the banquet keeper, and old desire is rocked asleep in that far hidden island of seas beyond the world. I know a lonely land where dreams unfold. There down dim lengths of sand, strange tides are rolled from silent seas more deep and vast, where all life is but the foam upcast in that grey secret island of seas beyond the world. and find there, and breathe to the mighty name of Manannan, the ruler of seas beyond the world.
Marlene's setting of Mona Douglas's poem The Secret Island, and in that version of it Marlene was joined by Dilys Sowry. As Chaliers ren a ren a voyagin, chit gus cleish Roland. Ren e limmer nis, as diliamach ta enne meda choreishen, shen corea ben cheshe chiatem, as a jinnam Gael fairer bielia. As ren de cholju rid vajerudit egge, as vers na skebamach as a chunyan egge, chit back de sechri egge. As henk a voyagin firnjach, de vei poest, rische Roland minek. Henk a siegen ek a jere, as henk toyacht a jaunasek. As me saw shen a skiel machion Roland, an onnenem ta shin fedden mach se skiel, ach genel shin fedden mach enem a boydjen shen renne pusa, na enem a wutch, na enem a nina wutch. As nishgus skiel elia, she a kellach era ta na skiel, ons na train tangol sha, varion. As chauchulu jane chastje legge, va gera taatnjes egge, on van a jadu bilje va trora oelen era. Gouds henk nul en de wei avi vad kuntit. Ach morre de rauw, va verjau, as serach. This petition before the court went on to complain that John Dearden and Thomas Tier, or in petition speak the said parties, were not themselves Douglas ratepayers, but nevertheless were, as the petition said, authorised to levy rates upon the inhabitants of the town of Douglas and disperse them at their will and pleasure, not being liable to pay 1 penny of the rates so levied, and having no interest whatever in the due and judicious disbursement thereof. The Manx Sun reports on an immediate legal point raised by the defendants' advocates against this petition, which was being pressed on behalf of the petitioners by the advocate Arthur Lawton against Commissioners Dearden and Tier. Objection, says the article, was taken, so the Manx Sun tells us, by defendants' counsel that petitioners couldn't proceed under one petition against 2 defendants. The court held the objection good, and Mr. Lawton chose to proceed against Mr. Dearden only. And now we're going to go in search of Manannan again.
Leave the baby in his cot and leave your bread and beer. Leave your warm and tender touch and all that you hold dear. Hey ho, leave your home, it's time to go and leave the baby in his cot. Leave your bread and beer. And take me to the mountain through the mist and failing light. Take a seven lantern with us deep into the night. Hey ho, take the road and let's now go and take me to the mountain in the mist and fading light. Seeking down the deepest well and out across the moor. Seeking where the savage cliff touches to the shore. Hey ho, seeking high and seeking low. Seeking down the deepest well and out across the moor. We came at length upon the Roo where carved into the slate appeared a mighty fortress that was sealed with golden gates. Hey ho, can you let me know, is the master home? We came upon a fortress sealed with golden gates. Blast of fury fills the air, a blinding flash of light, and as the gate begins to move, a giant voice calls in the night, who is it that broke my sleep, and who that has no fear, and who that dares to lead the way before? Manannan
And there we went in search of Manannan, with the song's author Greg Jochen leading the way on vocals with the trio Burrell. As for some legal reason, whilst the petition was presented by a number of people, apparently 14 in this case, I say apparently, we'll come back to that, it could only be against a single defendant, and the petitioner's advocate Arthur Lawton removed the second name, that of Thomas Teare, from the petition, and the Manx Sun continues. Mr. Dearden's case was then proceeded with, and Mr. C. Crane, clerk to the Douglas Town Commissioners, was examined. He produced the rate book and proved that Mr. Dearden is rated for a house in Castle Terrace in the town of Douglas, but now lives in a house situated Strathallan Crescent and outside the boundaries of the town. Mr. Cannell, for Mr. Dearden, said he'd instructed him to state to the T, Mr. Dearden would offer no defence to this suit, for if the court considered that he was disqualified, he would be much obliged if they would relieve him from the responsibilities and duties of the office. The court reserved the case for consideration. Eis van Rie Corrie, as hug is Sarah the Royal Aram agit the Vilja Dachi, as for Tree, Mecca Eggerie, as hug a fair shinne de Gouwe Ledden, a Cledden is Serera. Maar zo en I Freilara der meen as eis gaat dat de Freil by Carlin a soldier, as se wore ba Oel Elje a Serach. Weer na bak Freilara ni gain, a gedenke leis beg na share, son trebe deeg a chlagger bij boelt, henk se binair, as se wore ba Oel Elje a Serach. Nish henk shell a traswak de Freilara, as we oorloede in Ocean, ach van Rie kor barant sluw onsen, as we krelde jinnige eer na smedde, na na bredigen egge. Ach verjerrer en ik ordeelrisch liggede kor eber. Maar zo huggen de ege heen na life on vilje de Freilara, as we keret na jinnige kadle get na meisterach Terren deeg boele maag a chlag, henk riddenach seirige through den air. Thomas Collister and David Kilgallen, and the tune to which Eliza Craven's poem Ellen Vannin was set. The poem itself first published in July 1854 in the newspaper, with the musical setting emerging shortly after.
Manx Radio.
Stasiwn yn asiwn sien to Radio Vanning, ras yn siot awas geisiach, rys Claare na Gael, fysgol chebel empin o Robert gyda'n corsol, Robert y corsolach.
Did the ever hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Ryn Max y rhi ffag yn syr ei holys, celach fy getlach hwge, as na fedjig yn eg y sail sien gwrys Henk y celach dy fein y sair y bilje, as fe hanna spulg y fai úl, tre rennen dyn eg lig y said Detil y celach y srŵl, ach van said wúle y chlwy ege, as ren fer jyn y fedjig yn ege tujum gys y tolw. Rennen dyn eg trogl nisi, as re hwge leshi gys y ri y mor gain, dyn de na ver harchet sy'n ni. Ren y ri sym na cwjach altan yn y chwn seilege, as ren y dwliw greu draw lid y fedjag ffiw dy smw na'n cledyn ryriach. Nod y fel y fedjag holecher ach dwt y ri, chan elbeg ych ferjaw dy lŵr daw, sain de as bi y cledyn celach Mar so haie mac sinne roos, as liorish cor barant sy'n achtel as ege hyn, fe smonion dy jinnach e dy lia fedden na celach Tref engel tambelt honnig e sinnach van a haie ege noir J. Gael. John Dearden was obviously peeved at the personal attack in this this petition, and the petitioners, and more culpably the advocates, apparently hadn't checked their facts. But then, the Manx Sun says that, after the matter had been disposed of, Mr. Adams rose and informed the court that a special messenger had just arrived bearing a message from Mr. Noble, instructing Mr. Adams to state to the court that he, Mr. Noble, hadn't authorised the use of his name in the foregoing suit, and had no connection whatever with the petitioners. And so the Isle of Man Times sums up this case. The petition against Mr. Tier had been dismissed, and the court has held that Mr. Dearden isn't disqualified, and very properly too, for there is one very important point involved in this matter, namely, whether a man who pays rates for a house, which house he may please to let furnished during the summer months for profit or for other reasons, is to be disqualified to hold a seat at the board of the town commissioners. Now, Paul Reynolds is indefatigable in organising and taking part in entertainments at the Sailors' Shelter, the House of Manannan and the Centenary Centre in Peel, and here he sings one of his own songs, Manannan's Road.
Still see reflected there shades of life so fine. Manannan's road takes us back to where he ruled this island all the while. He never seen but a glen. Our people had lives of hardship, where the land and the sea ruled their lives. A living was gleaned from plots of earth, using sweat were hardy folks and true, who believed in God above. But they also knew Manannan came to protect them with his love. Manannan's road takes us back to when he ruled this island all the while. He never seen but a glimpse. Manannan's road takes us back to when he ruled this island all the while. He never seen but a glimpse.
The voice and guitar of Paul Reynolds and his song Manannan's Road with the harmonica of Ken Crellin. The Isle of Man Times continues in its summing up of this whole matter. The clerk to the commissioners had distinctly stated that Mr. Dearden is rated for his house in Castle Lawn Terrace, that Mr. Dearden had told him, the clerk, to send him the bill for the Castle Terrace house, as he had let it for 5 months, with the understanding that he, Mr. Dearden, was to pay the rates. Surely this is occupancy in the spirit of the Act contemplating that a ratepayer under premises of £15 a year value shall be qualified to be a town commissioner. Mr. Dearden's term of office expires next May. Supposing he'd let his house on the castle lawn for 4 months, dating from May the 1st, will anyone tell us that should he offer for re-election, the High Bailiff would refuse to receive votes for him when his name appears on the rate book for the house with all rates paid? Why, the very idea would be absurd. And in fact, yes, absurd seems to be fairly apt for this whole rather sorry matter. Ren mag sinari jíracha gunnega an sinnach. Dilly mac and shinnach, na gin liga arm, as nim cor maidut, tawas gold the redden na kellach era, as fast the beg Jew, niu chit gaspalia beg chira, onsen to de high osen in shadow edin redin, being dere ye as saljichan on, as be palcha de rinla scholar chows dije, na cor Gael de sen, ach emi stiach so fair elia, gair de be a gin de be finiau hartnisach. Creenach dat is bergbal weinig cor soenach de pech bis, money makery, as renny liege sinnach, ach renny missale, as renny shinamach famanege, as renny rai de blues stiach a Gael. Eich ren a dunye gulle redege, as chaus vi tarm gus a faster beg, renke balje beg chira, as unshen van in shadow a de high os. Onze derre jeva reinen gull Gael as downsen gulla ginu. Now Clash will bring out the potency of the figure of Manannan in this piece. Manannan by Claare from their Pulled by the Stars album. Van Tios Elia Jane de Ve 3 is small. Weidens Marmagen dorte, de Holstjachse tut de wol grauw shen, gaus de ridder a chamai fagus day, as mer saw highest jachse Tios ginnel, as unshen ve bege de sour, as age a root de bollach en kellach, as an airegge, as de chulju chorl vai. Now this, as I mentioned, seems to have been a very petty affair which was allowed to go far further than it ought to have done when you look at all who had to be involved with the petition before a court of the Staff of Government Division. And this was a petition all about the town of Douglas, not yet the island's capital, with the court sitting in the then capital, Castletown, on the 4th of July in the year 1866. As Mersaw Shaw Tarn gus Jeddah Claare Cartnish, you can enjoy a Sunday evening chill out as Chris Pearson presents the best of music between 7 and 9, and then at 9 o'clock it's Sundown with Judith Leigh. Closing Claare Gael this time is one of the parts of Tim Price's evocation of the Isle of Man in music, which he calls Gem of God's Earth. And this section describes the chasms. Cartalua Shene Cartnish, as so until the next time then, this is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Oh, Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Evi Machriort, as Duts, my Yerian share.